Hey Aquarius, how are we today? Just doing our weekly readings. This week we are sort of just doing a bit of a general spread. I will be pulling a love section as well. But I will let everyone know if you leave a comment on one of my videos, you will go in the draw for a free personal reading. And I'll be drawing that when we hit our first 100 subscribers. So we're getting really close, guys. So keep up with the likes and subscribes. I really appreciate all your support. Okay, but today we are going to be using the lenormand. I do have the romantic fairy oracle cards there, but starting today with the shapeshifter oracle. These cards are one of my personal favorites. They do have some really beautiful images. So starting off with those. Pardon me, guys. I still battling a bit of a cough at the moment, so I am sorry if I do cough a bit here and there. Winter in Australia, okay, guys. But like I said, starting with those shapeshifter oracles. So getting into it for you, Aquarius. What does Aquarius need to be aware of? What does Aquarius need to know? Okay, so firstly we have the Dinosaur Friends card. I absolutely adore this card with the cute little dinosaurs. It does say childhood treasures resurface. So I do feel as though maybe one or two of you will actually come across a childhood toy in this next week or so that, holds those treasured memories for you. But for others of you, a lot of the time this can just be talking about childhood memories of, fun, enjoyment, that innocence of childhood coming to play this week, okay? There also, I feel like there may be a dinosaur reference for one or two of you as well, somewhere in there, okay? But we also have Poison's daughter. All right, so that does say you have been given everything you need. So you can see here she's got all her tools of the trade. So it's really about you already have everything that you need to make the choices and decisions that you need to. It's just a matter of, sorting through your treasures and working out which one is the right one to use right now. A lot of the time this can talk about, powers, so to speak, that you may have. You may have, strong intuitive sense. You may be someone who, is a little bit clairaudio, clairaudio, I want to say, or there's quite a lot of different, clairs out there. So I feel as though whatever power is at your disposal, really coming to the surface for you at the moment there, Aquarius. And not only that, but that is a beautiful Aquarian card, isn't it? Does sort of have that vibe of Aquarius with that card. All right, so we'll get what I'm going to do is get 3 cards for each of those oracle, and then we'll move into the love section for you guys. Okay, so what does Aquarius need to know about this Dinosaur Friends card? Childhood treasures. What does Aquarius need to know? And you probably can't hear the background music, but right as we're talking about the childhood memories and stuff like that, one of my childhood memories has just started playing in the background there. It's a song. It's called "Runaway" by someone named Del Shannon. It's a very old song, but I think it was Trivium did a cover as well. But it brings to mind for me personally when I tried out for choir. This was the song that we all sung in choir. So I remember my teacher at the time, in like year 3 at school, loved this song. So it just sort of brings to mind those childhood memories and happy childhood memories, things that you probably didn't even think were, things you probably haven't even thought of for a very long time, all of a sudden coming up to the surface for you and becoming relevant. So that's really lovely. And what we're seeing here is the sun. So the sun talks directly about happiness. So happy childhood moments, definitely at the forefront for you at the moment, Aquarius. The sun also brings things to light. So, like I said, it may be bringing those memories to light that you haven't thought about for a very long time. Something that's maybe making you think about a current situation in a brand new way, some way that some childhood memory that's sort of really giving you that sense of childhood innocence and wonder at the world and how everything sort of links up. Like it's a crazy small world after all, but something coming to the surface this week. It does sort of feel like something will be coming to light, something will be revealed to you, and the key to that may be in a childhood memory. All right. We also have the birds coming through. So for one or two of you, this could actually be a conversation with someone from your childhood. Sometimes the bird does talk about conversations, phone calls, those sorts of things. So there may be something coming to light in a conversation, or the conversation directly may be bringing something to light in regard to somebody that was a childhood friend for you. I do feel as though someone that was in your childhood, it may be directly related to a person around you, something coming to light there. And then we do have the heart as well. So a lot of sort of loving embrace comes through with this card. Pardon. So yeah, I really am getting that, remembering the happiest moments of your life is going to sort of be that loving, warm embrace for you at the moment. So really, really sort of sitting in some memory at the moment, maybe having some conversations with family about, do you remember this when I was a child and this and this? So definitely, I really feel as though that's talking about a conversation. Sometimes it can have a few other things as well, like there is that distant grief kind of factor sometimes with the birds card as well. But I really do feel that we've got this warm embrace on one side, and the warm embrace on the other as well, the sun and the heart both coming through, really surrounding this conversation with a lot of love and happiness. All right, so definitely looking at something lovely coming through this week, or in the very near future. And it's very likely going to be linked somehow to your childhood. All right. Okay, so moving on to that Poison's Daughter card there. You have been given everything you need. Okay, what does Aquarius need to know about Poison's Daughter? So, very interesting here. Firstly, we do have the anchor, which, works really strongly with that particular card, anchoring you down safe and secure in the water there, so you're not sort of floating away. The anchor really does give you that security. It can be a very, very happy card. Sometimes it does talk about things, not allowing things to weigh you down, but more so allow them to hold you steady through the storm, so to speak. And we do see that, there may be some challenges up ahead. We do have the mountain coming through next. So it's really letting us know that, I want to say tread softly and steadily, through any challenges or delays that you may be facing in the next couple of weeks. The mountains can talk about challenges, delays, some sort of obstacle headed your way. It's not feeling huge or anything like that. What we do see with the mountain too is that, with a bit of hard work and perseverance, that determination to stay stable and strong heads you to the top of the mountain. And when you get to the top, it's like all these obstacles actually bring new opportunities for you. You can even see in this particular card, we've got the butterfly imagery there. So those obstacles really metamorphosizing into new opportunities for you. Okay, so sometimes the best things in life do come out of a harder time, so sometimes when we face a delay or a challenge, there's usually a reason for that obstacle, and to get to the other side of that obstacle really does help us bring about that, that metamorphosis, turning that obstacle into something else altogether. So that's actually really nice. And then what we actually have here is the child card. Okay, so once again, seeing that childhood, you know, coming out to play, that child coming to play. I do feel as though for some of you, this may be talking about an actual child in your life, or related to that mountain. It could be a child visiting from far away. If you do have friends or family that have a small child that are overseas or physically live in the mountains, they may be coming to visit. But we do normally get with that childhood, it's really just looking at having that childlike sense of wonder at the world again. And like we see with that poisonings card there, you have been given everything you need. So really looking at your situation as what treasures does life hold, rather than looking at what you don't have in your grasp here. Look at all the things that you do have. And I feel like it's kind of that MacGyver kind of vibe. It's like looking at these things, what can you make? And you can make this beautiful contraption that can do 5 different things. And you know how children will see something and they'll come up with this really imaginative way of using things that you never really thought that was how it was used. Like even I know even my child, you'll be sitting there playing Lego and trying to build a house out of Lego or something like that. And the next thing you know, you look over and your child's just got some Lego blocks and they've made a rocket and they're flying off into space, and they're off on some crazy imagination, like some crazy fancy of imagination. So it's really kind of bringing that out in yourself and having this real sense of amazement at all the things around you, the things that you have in your life, and really looking at them with that really innocent sense, and that adventurous spirit as well, having a real childlike sense at the moment, in bringing out your inner child to play a little bit at the moment. I really feel for you guys, Aquarius. It's quite a beautiful energy coming through with that child. We have a double reference to the child aspect there, so quite lovely. Bring that inner child out to play this week, Aquarius. Okay, so moving over into love for you, we'll have a look here. I'm going to draw some of the romantic fairy oracle. I forgot the name of these last week while I was away traveling, and I'm not going to forget them again, I don't think, because it really irked me that I had forgotten the name of a deck. But they are the romantic fairy oracle. They're really nice, actually. They're 50s pin-up type pictures, like the old Mills and Boon type. Is that what they're called? Mills and Boon romance novels or whatever. Okay, something I also remember from childhood. The childhood references are coming through strong today, Aquarius. All right, one more for Aquarius with love, please. Okay, so firstly we have honest communication has come through. So expect a heart-to-heart conversation. So as we did see all the way back up there, that conversation and then that heart. So definitely could be looking at some sort of heart-to-heart conversation within our love life, as well this week. It may be something to do with someone from your childhood, someone you've known from childhood, wanting to talk to you about matters of the heart. Having a bit of a heart-to-heart there. We are also seeing time apart. So I do want to say, pardon, I do want to say here, Aquarius, that for some of you, this may be like that first love coming back around in your life with all the cards we're seeing here and those childhood references. Your childhood extends a lot further than people sort of give it credit for, okay? Because as an adult, looking back at your childhood, your teenage years definitely still count. A lot of us kind of, weren't really children, so to speak, back then. But when it's, in the far past for a lot of you, a lot of us, I should say, I'm getting older these days. Um, but, your childhood is really something that you should be looking back at fondly. Even if you've had a hard childhood, there is always, beauty you know, in amongst all the thorns, or whatever, some sort of weird reference there, I'm sorry. But it does say a time of separation. So I feel as though for some of you, this is talking about a time of separation has now passed, and that's when this honest communication is coming on in. For others of you, we definitely may be seeing, if you are currently involved with someone, maybe needing to take a bit of time apart just to work through some things. I feel like it's probably more, other people needing to work through some things. You seem to be in a very happy sort of vibe at the moment, Aquarius, which is lovely to see. But I'll grab a few extra cards from the Lenormand and see if they want to add anything to that for us. What does Aquarius need to know about love? Love for Aquarius, please. Okay, so we are kind of seeing a similar message to what we were just sort of talking about there. Firstly, we do have the moon has come through. So that does talk about, some things that may be a little bit emotional. And keeping in mind, though, emotions can be all over the place. Not only, a lot of the time when you say emotional, people think of, the more negative emotions that do strike you down. But emotions can be those emotions of happiness and love and all those sort of happy emotions as well. But we're just looking at some emotional sensitivities. It's really telling us to really listen to your intuition at this time. You have been given everything you need. One of those things that you have been given is a really strong sense of intuition. So make sure we are listening to it at the moment, Aquarius. All right, because with the moon, it is quite important to follow your intuition and also listen to that little that gut feeling. If you're getting a gut feeling about something, it's usually for a reason. All right. But the moon has a lot of beauty and luck as well. It is a fortunate time. Okay. And we are seeing here, because this is quite interesting the way that these are laid out too, because I do have the moon firstly, and then we have the ship, and then on the other side we have the masculine. All right. And the moon is a feminine energy. So we do have, the masculine and feminine on either side of this ship. And so the ship can talk about distance, travel, so what we're seeing once again, that time apart message is coming through with that ship, that we may need to, just put a bit of distance in between ourselves at the moment. All right. So, and in some ways, this is also talking about balance as well, traveling back to yourself as well. Like, so for some of you, this is all sort of internal, but then when it comes to love, but then for others of you, this is talking about you and a specific person maybe needing to have a little bit of distance in between you guys, or willing to start a new adventure together to find that balance. Because I do find that with both a feminine and a masculine card on either side there, it kind of does show us that balance. The idea of balance is important within your love life, whether that's just within yourself or with this other person. The idea of balance is quite important at the moment, because with the feminine energy, that's the more emotional, nurturing, caring, beautiful energy. And then with the masculine energy, that's the more rough, domineering, logical side of things. So even you can kind of imagine, even within yourself, finding the balance between emotion and logic is a bit of a battle all by itself. But then if we are seeing, two separate people, of course, we don't need to genderize that masculine, although it definitely may be a masculine in your particular case. I'll leave that up to you, whether you want to genderize him or not. But we do just see that masculine energy, that roughness, that controlling, domineering type energy. A lot of the time they are, very reserved when it comes to emotion. So it's a matter of balance that, like, balancing those two sides, not allowing the masculine to take over and domineer the emotions, but not letting the emotions run wild either. It's really finding the balance between the two, and traveling toward balance, and starting this adventure with balance. All right, so it's a very sort of equal thing, that you want the feminine and the masculine to be in sort of sync, rather than fighting against each other, because the feminine is quite powerful in their own right, especially when you're seeing the feminine as the moon card, because the moon has control over the tides, and a lot of things on earth, so it can control elements on the whole planet, sort of thing. So it is quite powerful in its own right. But then the masculine does crave that power and that chaos, whereas the feminine only seeks chaos from a sense of trying to nurture and care for. So it's really, I'm really finding that balance is what's coming through really strongly with this message here, especially this ship we see here. It's a Zephyr, or Zeppelin, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know why a Zephyr, Zeppelin, right? But if the air is not balanced, and this ship below is not balanced, this will not fly. This will not. It will, list sideways or whatever. So balance is super important in this imagery. All right. So unlike a ship on the sea, so to speak, balance doesn't necessarily impact quite as much as what it may do for this. You need that balance when you've got this sort of a setup. It's very, very important to find that balance, and find that balance even just within the sky, so that you're not getting, caught in an updrift, and float away, a million miles from where you need to be. So balance is coming through really, really strongly here, Aquarius. So whether you need to find balance within yourself, or within a connection, if it is within a connection for you personally, time apart to find that balance within yourself, I feel may be important as well. But really sort of looking around at you already have everything that you do need to get through this situation, and that is coming through as following your intuition, but also taking logic on board. Okay, so balancing that out as well, making sure that we are following our heart and our intuition, but also, listening to what the truth is, taking that honest communication on board, and sort of really balancing that out. Okay. But yeah, don't forget to go and have some fun this week as well. We definitely, have that lightheartedness coming through strongly as well. So that's what I have for you this week, Aquarius. I hope that resonated for you. Of course, you're more than welcome to check your other placements, but hopefully I'll see you all again soon.